So Shades of Noir is a project which is basically aimed at raising the achievement and aspirations of the university in regard to its relationship to black and minority ethnic students, and also for black and minority ethnic students, to sort of lift up and assist them in their educational sort of development as artists and designers. So I think my contribution was primarily around the exhibition Happening to Be, which was the first exhibition sort of celebrating the achievements of very high-profile black and minority ethnic, I suppose, sort of artists and designers who've all alumni of UAL colleges over the years. And I suppose the impact of that was to really raise awareness and raise levels of understanding in the university and also the wider community of just how incredible some of the sort of some of these black alumni are, what sort of amazing things they've done in their careers. And I think in that sense, to perhaps make it clear to both students and staff and prospective, like I said, a wider community, the value of diversity, racial, ethnic, national diversity in terms of, artistic achievement. So we had, and I think it's not that, individually, all of these artists were very high profile anyway. None of them are sort of like, wilting violets. Say, for example, Yinka Shonebari's had a very high profile commission like the fourth plinth at Trafalgar Square. So it's not that they needed us to raise their profile. We needed them to make it more clear in the university setting just how important taking account of diversity in the curriculum is. That it actually isn't a sort of add-on, it's something which sort of enhances the reputation of the university and also the achievements of students and staff. So I think we had that impact. We raised that awareness to a lot of people. I would say, firstly, it is an educational benefit in the sense of knowledge enhancement. Certainly when I was first approached by Shades of Noir to get involved in the project, my level of awareness about sort of issues of race and the art and design, higher education was kind of fairly minimal. I had obviously experience, but I had, through my engagement, I got a lot more understanding about the issues to do with degree attainment, but also some of the aesthetic and intellectual questions, around equality, progression, and some of these issues, and sort of So I think that was one particular benefit, for me, but also I think for the wider, sort of university, community. I think we actually had a sort of change, we had a kind of impact. One of the things that's happened as a result, I believe, part of our work in, not just the exhibition, but the debates, the sort of spread of information, the consultations, the massive amount of consultation we had, has been, for example, the appointment of 2 new chairs of Black Art and Design, which I think, Shades of Noir was very important in sort of laying the groundwork for this kind of development, which is actually a sort of pioneering development in the world. The notion of Black Art and Design has always been quite heavily contested in academic and aesthetic circles, because people are struggling with definitions, but actually, everything struggles with definitions. Black Art and Design isn't any different from any other field of endeavour. Every field of endeavour, there's definitional problems, but this has always been a sort of barrier. And I think, in partly what we enabled the university to do is to put that behind it and to say, well, we're not going to worry about definitions of what is black and is there such a thing as black art, blah blah blah, all that stuff. Let's just see this as a field of inquiry, which we can allow our intellectual sort of imagination to wander through and discover. And maybe out of that definitions will come and maybe they won't. But certainly the idea that you can't have a field of inquiry is something which I think we help to sort of put to rest. I'm a great believer in the value of history, and by history I actually mean documentation and research. So I would firstly advise an excavator to read my comprehensive report, which I wrote about, and it's not a minor point, it's a serious thing, because there's this old phrase about reinventing the wheel. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. There's been a lot of learning, a lot of progress which we made through our previous experience, and certainly I've hopefully documented that. What I would also say is that it is actually quite a challenging role, and so there's going to be a lot of moments when, from my experience, when you're really feeling that this is quite a steep mountain to climb. But it is doable, and it's definitely worthwhile. It's worth in the end, and certainly if you can make improvement, if an excavator can make sort of improvement to some of the things that we weren't able quite to achieve, then it's going to be even higher, and the impact will be stronger. So perseverance, I think, and and aim high. This video, so you can make gestures.